We may be live already. No. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health. My name is Jason Steves. I'm a clinical account specialist for Perk Integrative Health, and I'm joined by my co-host, Steve Steves, who is a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath. And today we're going to be talking to you about, what are we talking about? We're talking about nutrition tips for stopping bloating and indigestion. So that's something that's a lot of people are dealing with. We have clients dealing with things like that on a regular basis. Things related to that as well. If you're feeling stuff in the upper part of your abdomen, like right below your ribs, or right in the middle here,
all the way down.
Yeah, all the way down. But like that's really one of the places where you'll start feeling it a lot of times. So we want to talk to you about that today, give you some tips on that, and help you guys get some resolution to those issues and stop those issues very quickly. So now there are things that you want to keep in mind when you go through go through improving your health, and we're going to talk about that as well. So as you're going through improving your health, there's some changes that'll happen to your body. So you want to stay tuned as we dive deeper into that. But we also, later in the show, we're going to be promoting some discounts, so stick around for that. And if you guys have any questions, please type in the chat. We're monitoring the chat so that we'll listen to your questions and answer them. But yeah, today's going to be a cool show. We're going to be diving into some good topics. So
well, and it was sparked by, so Jason's been seeing clients as a professional health coach, naturopath himself. And since he's been implementing in those roles this year, he's had a lot of unique cases that have popped up. And we're going to talk about one in the recent past of the kind of the individuals that struggle with these digestive issues. So
yeah, and how it's related to kind of the way we think, our emotions, our stress. We're going to talk about that. So yeah, and folks, as Steve mentioned, I am a nutrition professional at the Nutrition and Health Center as well. I'm offering services there. So yes, that's what Steve was mentioning as well. And obviously, having your guidance on every client I see,
it's nice.
Discuss things with you, and so
the teamwork works well.
Yes, it does. So all right, so we're gonna dive in here now. Steve, when you have people coming in and they're dealing with digestive issues, they're talking about, I get bloated after I eat, or like I get heartburn, or I think they're related, but maybe you can educate people on what is going on. Like if they start getting bloated or heartburn or indigestion after they eat, what's happening there? Why is that happening?
Well, food that, our first element, and we're going to offer, remember when you ask for the promotion, for anyone that places an order with Prosper Nutrition, and he's going to give you that discount code
later on. Yeah.
If you get to utilize that discount code, what we're going to do is we're going to attach a very easy to understand and detailed article that I wrote on digestive tips. So it covers the mental, emotional aspects of digestion. It covers bloating. It covers all the things that we're talking about today. But it's so common to have bloating and indigestion at various times of the day. And it often happens later in the day. At least it gets more severe because your system has gotten weaker from the day of consuming water and a lot of food through multiple meals. And so digestion is weaker. And you even notice that after you eat a meal, oftentimes you feel lethargic, you feel tired because the blood is flowing to the stomach and to the digestive organs to try to digest your food. Your small intestine alone has the surface area of the size of a singles tennis court. It's a massive amount of energy that needs enzymes and protein digestive, of course, protein digestive enzymes, amylases, which digest our carbohydrates, and our fatty digestion, all of the elements of food.
And if there are any visuals you want me to share on your computer or behind us, let me know. I can
it would be good to pull up a picture of, go to, I think somewhere in there I have under documents, digestion, there's a digestion poster. Just type in search digestion.
Okay.
Let's see what that digestive poster is, just so people can kind of have a visual. You can look at the digestive system as we're talking. That's going to be in a lot of documents. So if we find it, okay, find this, go down to D for digestion. Should be in there. Digestive bundle, poster. There we go. Bingo. Yeah, so let's put that up there so everybody can see the poster. So what you're looking at here, let's go full screen on that so they can see it.
Yeah, they're viewing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see the stomach. You see the picture of the woman up there in the top left. This is not the best image that's available, but that's the best we can get. So our stomach and our liver are involved. The gallbladder produces bile to digest food, and there's obviously nutrients that are available to help improve the flow of all those. And we do offer those in our digestion bundle that will be available for the discount price today. But understand that in addition to that, we have a product called Digest Max. That wasn't added to the bundle yet. That's an extra product with herbal bitters that helps stimulate the vagal nerve from your tongue to your stomach so that your stomach produces enough acids to move food downward. Because if you're drinking a lot of water with meals, or maybe you're not following your supplement protocol recommendations that Jason or I gives, and we tell you to take vitamin C and water in the morning and before bed, not with your meals, because it dilutes your digestion, and we want maximum digestion. So we're not drinking a lot of fluid. In fact, we went to lunch together today. Neither one of us had any fluid with our meals.
Right.
We have it before, we have it in between meals, and a lot of people wait till they eat lunch or dinner to have their water.
Yeah.
And so that's so much for the body to digest, and the diluted acids, the diluted enzymes, the diluted bile, all of that's not going to break the food down. And so what you get is this bloating sensation or indigestion or gas. And so digestive tips are so important to not, this one being the most important, don't drink water or liquids with your meals. Now you can sip if you need help digesting. If you don't have good amounts of water regularly that activates your saliva for the amylase that's needed. One of the things that I learned early on from some gastro doctors that really were natural focused, they said, you should chew your liquids. So if you put a juice in your mouth or a protein smoothie that's got fruit in it, put it in your mouth till you mix it with the amylase, chew it up, mix it around. Let your amylase help digest it in the mouth. Don't just gulp it down. Savor it, especially if it's cold. You want to savor it and warm it up in the mouth so it doesn't shock your digestive organs with cold body temperature, if you have some frozen fruit.
Right.
So when it hits the stomach, then of course that stomach acid is going to do well with some Digest Max, and that you don't dilute that stomach with some type of a fluid. But the liquids that we chew in the solid department, if you're eating a solid, and we didn't have as much time today.
Right.
To eat properly.
Right.
So we kind of rush the meal
down. Yeah.
So we need to take our solids and chew them till they're almost liquid in your mouth.
Yeah.
And then you swallow the liquid in both cases.
Right.
Solids or liquid.
Yeah.
Give that body starting point here in the mouth. Then when it hits the stomach, of course, we don't dilute anything there, and it should not take long before the stomach then, with the proper pH. Now, you that are out there that have taken a lot of antacids are going to have trouble with this because you've weakened your pyloric production of those, what do they call them? Proton pumps in the stomach that produce that hydrochloric acid. We need that acid. If you're refluxing it up here and taking antacids, it's because you don't produce. It's just the opposite. You're not producing enough acid to break it down and move it down. So you're diluting it. You're not having good meditation ahead of time to allow for digestion to happen. And that's when Jesus approached the disciples about when they eat. It didn't necessarily mean Passover or taking of the elements. For people that go to church on Sunday, they have bread and wine. Jesus said, when you eat, when you drink, do it in remembrance of me. So everything should be meditative and what God's done for you in your life and what he's going to do, especially with your digestive process. If you follow these tips, you'll be amazed at the digestive changes that occur. Is this what they're looking at yet?
Nope. Yeah,
okay.
I'm about to share.
So the digestion sees dramatic changes. There's your digest max.
Well, that's something that I mean, the more that I've learned, I've realized how important it is to get the stomach acid right. And it really kicks off the digestion. I mean, there's things we do before, like you said, chewing, but when it gets down into the stomach, that is so crucial that your stomach acid, there's enough of it. I know that one of the things you've mentioned to me over the years is you noticed a correlation. There's a book written about it too. There's definitely a correlation between blood types and the stomach acid strength in blood types. There's a very not, it's not always the case, but most of the time it's very much the fact that, and what I remember is A blood types tend to have a little bit less hearty stomach acid than O blood types. And so O blood types may not have as much stomach issues as A blood types. But again, that's not across the board all the time. You may be a little bit different than that. But that is something that I noticed. And when I mean, I'm an O blood type, so I've always had pretty strong digestion. But when I did start having digestive issues, I didn't think that, okay, maybe I don't think it's my stomach acid, but when I optimize my stomach acid production with the nutrients that I take and my lifestyle, the way that I chew and reduce my stress, I tend to do so much better with my digestion, just making sure that that is doing the best it can do. And the dilution aspect too is for many years, I have not been drinking water while I eat. And that's just a habit I got into. I don't like drinking water when I eat. If I do, I'll sip a little bit, but not much at all. And so I wanted to share that because that's some things that you've taught me over time.
About blood type. Yeah. One of the ways you can tell if you have weak stomach acid, right down through the center of your tongue is a meridian point that's connected to your stomach. So if your stomach is weak, you're going to tend to have either an indentation there or a crack there. We call it a fissure. And that just really identifies with the amount of severity that you have in your weak digestion. And that's something we'll have to, I've got a poster here that shows some of the tongues and the way that they look. But
let me grow it.
Well, we don't want to grow some out.
Oh, okay.
We'll get some of those tongues and separate them for next time.
Right.
So once it gets beyond the stomach, if it does, and it's not so delayed, the stomach empties fairly rapid, and then the small intestine goes to work. And back to our digestive poster, if you could.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'll share that. Okay.
Have that handy. So back to right outside, you see this cutaway view over on the left-hand side. There you go. You see the gallbladder, you see that biliary tree. And this is a blown away cutaway view of right outside the stomach where we introduce our pancreatic enzymes. Good job. And then our amylase our bile acids right there coming down that tube.
Right in here.
Yeah. So they combine together to help mix with that food that came out of the stomach.
Yeah.
So bile acids are dramatically improving their flow. And this helps with, as soon as the digestive tract gets introduced with bile, usually there's a peristalsis action, that muscular action that moves the colon that's activated with bile, and it starts to stimulate the flow. It emulsifies fats. So it breaks the fats down and helps them to be absorbed, to utilize the ones that we need, like from fish oil or from your omega-3s. But then you get your enzymes dumping in there as well. Now, a lot of people will get pancreatitis. How many people do you know? You hear it now more than ever. Pancreatic cancers.
Right. Or type 1 diabetes.
Where the pancreas beta cells just quit working. So the burden that happens here at this point is so great because of the junk coming out of the stomach, and it's all out of balance on the pH. The stomach sets up an environment so the amount of burden that's on the pancreas and the gallbladder bile production is minimized. 6,000 gallbladders a day are removed out of people, Americans in the United States every day. And so we've got a major problem with this digestive system associated with the junk we're putting in. That is what's interfering. Obviously, we're using hydrogenated trans fats. We're not getting enough essential fats that are anti-inflammatory in their nature. So this point is so critical, and this is where you're either going to get the organs to work, the pancreas making all the enzymes, and then also making the insulin to help us digest our food, and or that gallbladder's intervention of removing waste and then assimilating our good fats into the body. There's a lot at stake right here outside the stomach that needs to be fully functioning. So in our digestive bundle, there's a formula called choline. Well, it has choline citrate in it. We call it cell energy. We're keeping that name, right? What do we say?
Cell Energy will change names soon.
Oh, it will.
It won't be far, but
okay, I forgot what we were coming up
so
with.
Cell Energy is going to be the choline.
Oh, well, it's not even on our digestion bundle.
Right, but it is important. So our bundles are kind of big hitters, like the big main things you really want to get at. But we are going to talk about other products that are adding to digestive health and other factors.
Yeah, and we'll change these bundles in the future. Like we may call this what you're looking at digestion bundle foundation, and then maybe
we'll make more offerings with other products. Yeah,
with other products in there like this cell energy that choline helps with activating the bile. And yeah, this is the stuff. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
And everybody should be on it. So that's part of our foundational protocol. Everybody should be on choline. Your body uses acetylcholine for memory, for nerve transmission. Take a look at that. Go on the website and read the product data sheet that's there.
You've got a little video you educated them on the choline.
I got a short video that I did on that one. Remarkable product for digestive health and getting bile to flow so that you can metabolize fat. Any of you that burp up your fish oil, of course, that's probably cheap fish oil, but if you use something like this, it helps to break down those fats so that you don't burp up fatty foods.
And another important point in regard to our formula, the difference that our formula provides is choline in a citrate form. Now, that's the most ideal way to take choline, and we've got a whole lot more of it in this product than you normally would take in other products. So you're going to get a much better effect of the choline to help with your liver and bile production, to help with creating a neutral charge in the cells so that magnesium gets in easier. That's an important aspect of the choline, is it's helping your cells take in magnesium, which magnesium alkalizes and energizes the cells. So all the cells in your body are going to start functioning better as a result. So.
And that point that he just made about magnesium and the choline's transport of it is a key element in all heart disease. The fact that we don't metabolize magnesium appropriately means that the heart's starving for magnesium, and we have so much calcium in our diets and so much acidosis from our diet that precipitates calcium losses, that we've got this calcium buildup that needs more magnesium so that the heart can work and we don't get this stagnation or calcium buildup and gallbladder stones made of calcification or kidney stones.
Right.
In fact, just had a gentleman in recently who had been diagnosed with a calcium excess around his heart, and it tends to plaque and cause the valves of your heart to stick. And magnesium reverses all that, but you need the choline to transport it into the system. Remarkable in its effect.
Yeah, and there's so many other benefits. But on the note of stomach health, when you're low in magnesium, sometimes there's going to be an issue with your stomach health. One in particular is that the muscle, the sphincter at the top of the stomach, won't properly close.
It gets stiff.
Yeah.
Magnesium has the softening and relaxing of
it.
So it will shut and open more effectively.
That's why magnesium helps so much with, like, when you're having muscle cramps or aches and recovering from things. So you know, it's connected to all the muscles in our body, even the ones that are involuntary in our stomach. And
so whether you got a leg cramp, muscle cramp, women having uterine cramps in their menstrual cycle each month, guaranteed they're low in magnesium. So, and most people aren't even taking the recommended daily allowance. You know, the recommended daily allowance, RDA, that was developed years ago. We changed the name of that, right? We have a new name for it. It's RDA stands for ridiculous allowance because it's not optimal that we're needing for today because there's so many interfering factors. But that was for healthy individual, and the average American, between 78 and 88% of Americans don't even get the RDAs for nutrient levels. So magnesium's one of them, and therapeutic levels of magnesium, I take over 1,000 milligrams a day, every day, and it's remarkable.
Yeah, we'll show you our magnesium too, because the formula is unique in our magnesium as well. It's 3 different, triple forms of magnesium, which is important because sometimes our bodies won't take in one form as well as another. So when you have all 3, we actually technically have 4 because we've got the magnesium stearate down here as well.
Which comes from a plant stearate, by the way. Most people are getting stearic acid or stearate from horse hooves that are in their vitamin supplements, and we have formulated this with the plant stearate. But look at the magnesium glycinate there. This is the most active in muscle tissue, an organic amino acid chelate here. This makes up 85% of the magnesium here, which is most dominant for the majority of muscles in the body. And then others that have a detox effect, like the ascorbate and the citrate together. And then, of course, the stearate helps with the actual balancing of the supplement in the package, the way it's done, which is amazing. And what more of a brilliant biochemist than Dr. Jaffe that could put this together for us. And you can look at the research articles at the bottom there on the left. You see those. You can download those if you want to look at that first one there. I met that woman, Mildred Seelig. That letter M stands for Mildred. I remember that because that was my grandmother's name. Same generation. That's about how old my grandmother would be today, which Mildred died at 94 years of age about 5 years ago. So be about 100 years of age, which my grandma right now, if she was still alive, would be what, 100 and
a little bit older, probably.
Yeah, 110, 115. But she researched magnesium every day of her life for 35 years and continued to until she died at age 94, still working. Isn't that fascinating? But you can read that. Most of our researchers are so well versed in the research on an element of a nutrient. Or have you ever met anybody that studied a single element for 35 years?
Right. Yeah.
And she was brilliant.
Diving in deep.
So that's why she's listed as one of our research articles. But
well, yeah. So we've obviously taken a lot of time talking about the stomach, and that is the start. And Steve obviously got into liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and how that kind of gets into the small intestine. You start digesting fats and carbohydrates more. And so these are important components, and the supplements that we talked about, magnesium, choline, right? These are going to be highly beneficial. Not to mention some other supplements that are going to be helpful. Fiber is going to be very, very useful because when your body's producing more bile, there's more toxins coming out of your liver, and your body needs the fiber to absorb those toxins as they're coming out, so you don't reabsorb them, in your digestive tract. So that's why one of the reasons why fiber is so helpful for our health and our digestive health. There's other benefits as well, but
I was thinking about the probiotic. Is that on the digest bundle?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people, well, I don't want to put bugs in my gut, good bugs. But I just recently dealt with someone, and I've had this happen in the past. I remember being out in the wilderness on a bike ride with me and 3 other adults, and we had run out of water. We were out in this hill country for a long period of time. I had taken probiotics, and 2 out of 4 of us decided we were going to drink water in a creek that was flowing out in this wilderness. And we thought there's probably going to be some bacteria in there that could make us sick. But I wasn't concerned because I was taking probiotics regularly, and I ended up taking more right after I got back, just as a protective mechanism. Well, the other person that drank the water got deathly sick, throwing up, violently sick after we got done with that bike ride. So that's just one case scenario why probiotics are so beneficial to continue to restore good bacteria, because there's so many elements that interfere with good bacteria balance.
Right.
You're getting antibiotics, and if you're not eating meats that are grass-fed, you're getting it in your meat products. It's in everything. And most people are taking antibiotics at least annually. I used to take them all the time. I was addicted to antibiotics going in and out of the doctor's office. I broke that cycle in my life about 30 years ago. And it's been freedom ever since. So probiotics to reinoculate, protect immunity in the gut, digesting carbohydrates, differentiating between that which your body likes in biotic organisms and that which the body is not so familiar with and doesn't want. That's why we do our probiotics. So incorporating those, you can literally take, how many of you out there have heard of Lactobacillus acidophilus? Most of us. It's been around for years because of the research was so prolific. And in North Carolina, there's an institute there was really well known for this specific strain of probiotic organism, the Lactobacillus acidophilus. Acidophilus means acid loving. And so if you get acid indigestion and you open up one of these probiotics and put it in your mouth, swish it and swallow it, to this day, I've never had a person come back and say it didn't work. Puts out the fire. It quenches the excess acid with the acidophilus culture. Fascinating. There's a list there.
Yeah. Obviously, it looks like there's more of the acidophilus that than any other.
There's more of that in our small intestine. That was the most prolific one that they identified and why it was so popular years ago.
Right. But these are all human forms.
And they all have a specific function. And we do have a detailed sheet on these. If you want to know what each one of these organisms does,
it's pretty cool.
You can request that as well, and we'll send that data sheet with the information on the digestive tips.
It's pretty neat to read about that.
It's fascinating. Even the fighting of cancer cells within the GI tract, it's remarkable what probiotics will do for us. So
and probiotics they're being more and more researched, the benefits of probiotics. A lot of people, when they're talking about benefits of probiotics, they're talking about the second brain, like mental health, and how the digestive tract improves, your mental health when you're making sure the good bacteria is growing in your gut. And that leads us into the last thing we wanted to talk about, which is, making sure that when we're making these health changes, that we are prepared for the challenges that we're going to face. Because life is not a cakewalk. Someone, I can't remember who it was, but an older person told me one time, they said, growing old is not for wimps. And so and I like that a lot because it's true. And so this is something that I think is so important for our client, that we share with our clients, and for you to hear, is that when you start making health changes, there's going to be some changes happening to your body. And sometimes those changes aren't so pleasant. And so, Steve, can you share a little bit about that? Like when you have a client in, they're the new client, and you're trying to help them understand this component, like if they're going to be detoxing more, what are they going to be experiencing? How do you share that with them?
I had a gentleman in recently who's not been eliminating, but every 2 or 3 days. And that process is going to increase. And I told him, as you increase more elimination, there may be more things that happen in the way of symptoms. Symptoms are not the enemy. When you have a fever, for example, that is the body's way of fighting infection. Don't quench what the body does naturally. Let it do what it's supposed to do. So it's the same thing with, if you go through a trial in a relationship, if you go in any kind of a trial, there's always a difficult thing that we go through. There's a pain, there's
some
a suffering.
Seasons are worse than others. It's not always bad. It's not always good.
Whether it's seasons in our relationships or seasons of the year in the spring and the fall, where we get a lot of pollen versus the summer heat and needing to hydrate more, or in the winter when we're cold, where we need to warm up more and to help control thermogenesis. We need to learn to listen to our body. So that's what we do throughout the years. We test people and keep them on track to know their body chemistry changes throughout the seasons. And a lot of people get disrupted, and they if they're not experiencing their normal flow of life, they get stuck in a rut. A rut is like a grave with the ends kicked out, right? And you don't want to dig your own grave by getting in a rut of lifestyle that's not helpful. So it's painful to kick out or to restore health and not be dealing in this rut that we constantly live in. And we're going to go through pain. Pain is a good thing.
Right. Especially if you've had a lifestyle and you're starting to change that lifestyle. And we want to encourage you in that as you are starting to change your lifestyle, think of yourself as a child learning something new. How would you treat a child learning something new? Would you be like angry with them? Why can't you figure it out? Or I should be doing better by now. No, you understand that it's going to take them a little bit of time to kind of grasp those concepts and adopt them and do the same thing with your body as you're starting, especially if you've had decades, years or decades of living an unhealthy lifestyle. You start implementing these changes, like Steve mentioned, you may vomit, like you may vomit, you may have diarrhea, there's certain things that might happen because your body's trying to build new tissues, trying to get rid of toxins that are stored in the tissues, in the cells, in the organs, and all these areas, and is trying to create opportunities for building new tissues. And that's something that is a process that takes time.
Yeah.
And so,
well, if you're making those changes, if you want to minimize those symptoms of pain, you get this digestive, take advantage of the sale, use the code number that Jason's going to share here in a moment.
Yep.
Get the digestive tips handout, go through that handout and start to apply those things. I'll tell you one of the things that I did that's in there that I put in that article. That one of them was spending more time eating and chewing your liquids and making your solids, that which you drink, you chew them up so much they become liquid. So I started to have lunches that would last like 40 minutes, where before I was scarfing everything down in about 10 to 12 minutes and off we go. And I did this on a trip one time. So I was taking digestive aid for this and digestive aid for that, and praise God for digestive aids, because we often do get in a hurry and we don't have that mental, emotional aspect or benefit of healing with our digestion or helping our digestion. Just applying that, if you do that for 1 or 2 meals and you experience that, then you'll know what the Lord was trying to do for us when he said, whenever you do this, just remember me. And when you remember something, you got to stop for a minute and you have to reflect or meditate, and in order to remember what the Lord has done. He said, whenever you do this to the disciples, when you eat or drink, do it in remembrance of me. Well, there's a lot to remember. You've got the 4 Gospels of specific details of what Jesus spoke, and even in Acts is quoted, but Jesus is from Genesis to Revelation, and we can remember what he did for us, for all of us, for the purpose. You have a calling in your life, and it's not to be suffering with bloating and indigestion so that you're not able to minister and love on your family. Take advantage of these tips. Use the digestive bundle. Well, I would say we could send them that information, even if they just bought the probiotic, or if they want an individual part of the package. Maybe you don't want the fiber, you want the probiotic, or maybe you want to get the Digest Max, or the Cell Energy. That's a primary one for fat digestion, and it helps with fat loss too.
Yeah. So the discount code for everybody who's stuck around and is ready for this. So today's date, 5/10/24 show. 5/10/24 show. That is the code you'll use at checkout. You put it in where it says coupon code and you enter that in, and that will give you 10% off all the products that we mentioned today. And you can get started feeling the difference with the Prosperity Nutrition supplements, because the formulas we use, they're all from food. They're fully bioavailable. You can read our guarantee on our website. It's at the bottom. You scroll down, it says guarantee. You can learn about why our supplements make a huge difference. People switch over from other supplements all the time, use our supplements, make a huge difference in their life. So take advantage of this and use these supplements, because they are going to get you started. because that's something that we were talking about. Like, if you are experiencing symptoms of, trying to improve your health and it's just you're not getting going very well, a lot of times supplements can make a big difference and get you feeling good. Then you can start having that energy, that strength to implement the lifestyle components.
Yeah.
Because we have clients, a lot of the times they'll do good about the supplements, but they won't be working on the other parts of their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then they struggle because you
They never reach that potential that they
Right.
really could.
Yeah, because it's a little bit easier to kind of implement the supplements right away, and it feels great when you start feeling that difference. And it can be tricky on our mind to think, well, it's the supplements that's making us feel better.
That's right.
Right?
We're talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you start to implement these supplements and you start feeling different, and it's not always good when you go through that change, you got to realize that the body is inducing change. And it's a good thing. The body's going to go through a healing crisis or a Herxheimer reaction, in many cases, a detox reaction. It's trying to expel waste that's been stuck in there for years. And it's remarkable the things that are happening, especially with, well, I can't even get into it. There's just so many.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about a lot of these topics. We're here every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So mark your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, on your calendar to stay tuned. We're wanting to chat with more people live, but it takes time to get people to know that we're going to be on here at 1:30 on Fridays.
Yeah, every Friday now.
So yep, Fridays 1:30. It's a good time, we feel. The video, we post it so that you guys, if you can't be on here live, you can watch the recording later. But yeah, go on prospernutrition.com, download the free 7 Proven Steps guidebook. If you scroll down to the bottom, I showed it a little bit earlier in this video. Let me share it again. Where is that web page? It disappeared. Is it not up? I'll just share the screen. Yeah, if you go to the prospernutrition.com homepage, you scroll all the way down and it will be right here. This will be the 7 Proven Steps. Download. You put your name and your email, and that will allow you to be able to download that for free. We'll be able to stay in touch with you as well through Prosper Nutrition. And if you guys have questions, type them in the comments. Feel free to come and join us next week and type in the chat as well questions if you're there with us live. And we'll be bringing you more health information that'll help you prosper and be in health.
Well, in the article, when you get that, also, all of our articles that we write tie in those 7 proven principles or steps with digestion or in its association with heart disease or with immunity. So you'll see that connection there with everything in those 7 proven steps to every part of your lifestyle, to every part of your body chemistry, depending on those 7 steps that are scriptural and they're founded in God's word that he was trying to communicate with us so that we could prosper and be in health.
So we hope you guys, implement these things and feel the difference. We want you to prosper and be in health. We're here for you. We're not going anywhere. We're committed to the end. I'm inspired by my dad. He's always like, I don't want to stop working. I just want to keep educating people, helping people. And I think that's a good kind of plan to have with your life, is constantly have a purpose of sharing and loving and serving others. And that's what we're committed to. We're here. So don't feel like, if you have questions or something's wrong, let us know. If you're taking the supplements and you can't, that's why we talked about this today. You don't know why you're feeling bad and you're wondering if it has to do with the supplements. Sometimes, it'll happen where you're taking it at a certain time of the day. It's not the best time for your body or whatever it may be. So, we're here.
We help with that.
Yeah,
we definitely help with that.
So email us info@prospernutrition.com. Make a comment down in the YouTube channel, and we will be responding to you. So thank y'all for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Hope y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next time, next Friday at 1:30 Central.